The cartel that rigged the light bulb game. The challenge with incandescent light bulb longevity is the Phoebus cartel from 1924, when the manufacturers artificially shortened the lifespan of incandescent light bulbs in order to sell more of them. There are a few manufacturers now coming out with long-life incandescents, but I think a lot of innovation in this space has been curbed by the incandescent bulb being banned. There were a lot of CFLs labeled as lasting 12,000 hours, which often didn't make it past 200 hours. Several of the tests I did are documented on the internet. In this case, the most notable was a test where one CFL made it 72 hours before it died, which naturally makes one suspicious of whatever is written on the box. That said, I think that LED lights do, generally, have an authentic long lifespan. Let's not forget the Centennial light bulb in Livermore, California, which has been burning for more than 1 million hours. That is an incandescent bulb. While the playing board is currently riddled with a lot of nefarious cheating, I think it's possible that we can see both LED and incandescent bulbs built in such a way that they last 20 years or more. So I think the actual longevity race is a wash. It says eco on the label. They forgot to mention carcinogenic. The story on incandescent light is pretty straightforward. There isn't much to those bulbs, so while I think there is some toxicity in the manufacture and disposal, it is pretty small, and it has a magnificent track record while in use. Let's explore the LED in comparison. Rather than the simple filament of an incandescent, an LED bulb needs a driver circuit, an LED panel, and a heatsink so that the whole thing doesn't catch on fire. The LED bulb could be 100 times more sophisticated, and it has far more diversity in materials, highly toxic materials. A study by UC Irvine showed that LEDs are loaded with lead, arsenic, and other toxins that cause a variety of ailments, with cancer leading the parade. I need to drag out the CFL corpse again for a moment. Hundreds of CFL factory employees have needed hospitalization due to succumbing to toxins in the environment of the factories. It is recognized that CFL disposal is so toxic that there is a special disposal protocol which most people don't follow. During their use, CFLs reduce IQ, cause cancer, and can catch on fire. CFL manufacturers claim that these issues had been resolved, only it turns out they had not. These are the people who are building LED light bulbs now. I'm going to speculate that LED lights will have about 1/3 the toxic nightmare of CFLs, but they still have about 12 times more toxicity than incandescent lights. And I'm going to further speculate that the same can be said for the disposal. As for health issues for LED lights during their use, LEDs are still relatively new. So far, LED light has been proven to mess with sleep cycles. It has also shown the potential to cause problems for people with epilepsy, as well as contribute to malaise, headaches, and visual impairment. And apparently, infrared light, which LEDs produce almost none of, is extremely important for all sorts of biological functions such as eye health and cellular energy production. And those are just the problems we've figured out so far. Quick note, if you are off-grid and you have DC power, then the electronics for LED are simpler and thus the toxicity for production and disposal is less. If you wish to compare LED to CFL, LED is much better. But if you wish to compare the toxicity of LED to incandescent, natural daylight, 10, the best. Natural daylight behind glass, 9.5. Incandescent light, 9. DC LED light, 5. AC LED light, 1.5, the worst. Big energy savings, except in cold climates. A quick science lesson. There are 3 different types of heat transfer. 1. Conduction occurs when 2 objects are physically touching. This is the most efficient form of heat transfer. Think of food in a frying pan. The heat is being conducted from the frying pan to the food. Hold your sandwich an inch away from the frying pan and you'll be waiting a while for the grilled cheese. 2. Radiation is energy that travels in a directional wave. When radiation strikes an object, it transfers heat to it. Think of sitting around a campfire. The front half of you may be warm, but your back might be cold. That's because the air itself is cold. You're being warmed by radiant heat. 3. Convection is heating the air, some of which heats you. This is the least efficient type of heat transfer and is sadly the way most of our homes are heated. In general, LEDs produce about 4 times more light per watt than incandescent bulbs. And unlike CFLs, they really do produce 4 times more light per watt. The amount of light given off at any point in the first 30 seconds is the same as the amount of light given off at 10 minutes, just like incandescent. And unlike CFLs, the amount of light it gives off 5 years later is the same as when it was brand new. But wait, I live in Montana. When it gets cold outside, the days get much shorter. When I need more light, I also happen to need more heat. And incandescent light has 2 big properties: high quality light and radiant heat. Radiant heat, when pointed at a person, is far more efficient than convective heat, which is the most common way that people heat their home. If you live in a cold climate and you are using incandescent lights willy-nilly about your house, thinking of only light without a thought in the world of using them in an intelligent way, then the electricity is effectively free in the winter. The electricity is free because if you turn all of your lights off, your thermostat will then tell your heater to come on more. It will be almost exactly the same amount of energy. I can do better than free. If used intelligently, the incandescent light bulb can actually reverse your heat bill and save hundreds of dollars per year, maybe even thousands. In 2010, I moved into a house that was heated by electric heat, and using techniques outlined in Chapter 13, I cut 87% off my electric heat bill. The star of the show was a 40-watt incandescent bulb. In this case, 4 microheaters saved me about $900 for one winter. So if you live in a warm climate, LED light, 10 the best. Incandescent light, 3 the worst. If you live in a cold climate, incandescent light used intelligently, 10 the best. Incandescent light, 5. LED light, 1 the worst. The ultimate example of greenwashing. If a person is on the grid and lives in a cold climate, there is no contest. Incandescent is dramatically superior. If a person lives in a warm climate or is off-grid, they will have to wrestle with their own values to make their own choices. The passionate armies of people fighting for CFLs and LEDs are fueled by professional greenwashing. I bought into it for a while myself. How embarrassing. I think LEDs have come a long way in the last 5 years, and things are looking promising. I am excited about what the future might bring, and I hope that we eliminate all light bulb subsidies and artificially short product lifespans and political bans, so our future discussions can be a bit more direct. The bottom line about light bulbs: they are too trivial to talk about in this book except to unravel the greenwashing that is preventing people from contemplating real solutions. I'm glad we had this chat and got that out of the way. Now for the really big stuff.